Today, the mixed martial arts world is abuzz as we see Islam Makhachev vacate the lightweight championship of the world as he moves up to challenge for the welterweight. But also, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for that vacant lightweight championship. But also, Khamzat Chimaev finally will challenge for a championship against Steel Knox Dricus Du Plessis. I mean, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot stretched out over the next few months. Pause. And we got to get into it. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy, Matt, and we are here to go over all of the latest it's a bombshell was dropped. Get in your bunker, because it went down. As in, Dana White has dropped all of the news, everything. The next few months, as long as folks don't get injured, it's already been set up. Let's kick it off. Let's start out. Let's get to the biggest elephant in the room. Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, the pound for pound #1 fighter right now in the world, because John Jones still won't ink the contract with Tom Aspinall. Islam Makhachev will vacate the lightweight championship of the world and move up to 170 pounds to face Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight championship. Now, this fight is to be announced later in the year. I mean, because, it wasn't like, Bilal Muhammad did lay a few hands on Jack Della, so homie got to heal up. He needs a little bit of time. Islam's already a big dude, but he got to make sure, he packs on the muscle the right way. You know what I'm talking about? Bro, solid fight. Cannot wait to see this fight. It's a fight that I'm not going to speculate on or make a pick yet, because there's a lot of factors going into this. I mean, Jack Della had really improved takedown defense, really improved grappling defense, defensive grappling, scrambles, all of that, right? But we're talking about Islam Makhachev, right? We talking about Coach Khabib, right? But with that being said, bro, it's like it's a 15-pound weight difference. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around, he's a big dude, but I mean, it's just physics, you know what I'm saying? It's a 15-pound weight difference. And even though Islam Makhachev might be big for 155 pounds, imagine when they're in their spare time, right? When fighters are in their spare time, they're not training for a fight. I can guarantee you, Jack Della weighs more than Islam Makhachev when they're just walking around and nobody's training for a fight. Now that Islam doesn't necessarily have to watch his weight, maybe he'll balloon up larger, maybe he'll put on the right kind of weight, and that'll be a little bit more evened out. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see if something flies in my eye. I cannot wait to check it out. I'm not making a pick yet because I need a little bit of time, but bro, it's definitely, for sure, it's going to be interesting. That's going to set that division on fire, because as I spoke about in my previous video, at welterweight, you're going to have Kamaru Usman, you have Buckley, you have Islam Makhachev now, you have Jack Della the champion, you still got Ode Bilal Muhammad lurking around. You know what I'm saying? You also got Ian Machado Gary lurking around. You know what I'm saying? You're about to see a fight with Michael Morales this weekend. It's a lot of guys that are lurking around in this division, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays out and where everyone fits in. So, outstanding. Now, let's talk about the real fight, right? Let's talk about the real fight. Just the could be fight of the year off of intrigue alone. You know, you see two guys fight, or you see two guys about to fight, and you think, oh, this guy has this action style, and this guy knocks people out, and this is awesome. Oh, this guy, not only can he knock you out, he can submit you very easily. This should be very interesting. You think you're going to see an action-packed fight, and then one guy is far superior, goes out there, waxes the other one, and it's over. But the intrigue still made up for it, right? Even if it's like the fight ends in 13 seconds, the intrigue still made up for it. And the fight that I'm speaking of is Ilia Topuria, who is now moved up, as we all know, to 155 pounds, will challenge Charles Oliveira for the lightweight championship of the world, the championship that Islam is vacating. This is going to be outstanding. Ilia Topuria is an outstanding wrestler. Ilia Topuria began his career as a grappler and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. You know what I'm saying? Tremendous word for a dude from Louisville, Kentucky. Charles Oliveira, of course we all know his Jiu-Jitsu pedigree. Of course the man can submit you. Of course the man's style for the last 5 or 6 years of his career literally has been going into fights, getting knocked down, inviting his opponent to the ground, and submitting them or taking advantage of them, tiring them out, and when they're back on the feet, he lays them out. Or, like I say, he just submits them on the ground. But when you're talking about Ilia Topuria, you're talking about a dude that is built different. You're talking about a dude that has achieved things in a short amount of time that we didn't necessarily believe were achievable. You're talking about a guy that hasn't really had to show much of his ground game, his BJJ, or anything like that since early in his career, because the man has the touch of death. You know what I'm saying? The man goes out there, his fists give you the kiss of death. Like, you know what I'm saying? To Godfather 2 fans, when Michael Corleone kissed Fredo, he said, you broke my heart, Fredo. And he gave him the kiss of death, bro. That's what Ilia has in his fists. And so, this is going to be, this right now, look, bump John and Tom Aspinall. This fight right here is the one that I want to see in 2025, besides Islam Makhachev and Jack Della. And also another fight that I'm about to bring up. There are 3 fights that I'm making this video about, and they're the 3 fights that I want to see this year. And John and Tom are not included in that, even though I got a photo of John Jones on my wall. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira is going to deliver, even if it ends in 10 or 13 seconds, however many seconds. Just the intrigue, just the walkout, just the vibes that you will feel before this fight, I believe will definitely make up for how the outcome goes. And heaven forbid we get a 5-round war. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the UFC. They in their bag now. Let's move over to another fight. It has finally been signed. Khamzat Chimaev, the wolf. The wolf is on the prowl. You know what I'm talking about? Finally, we will see Khamzat Chimaev, as long as he can make it into the octagon and they can lock the door, challenge for a championship. He will be challenging for the Middleweight Championship of the world against my guy, Steel Knox, Dricus Du Plessis. Check out Bruce Lee on my shirt. Dricus Du Plessis will make the attempt to defend his middleweight championship against Khamzat Chimaev. Outstanding. Outstanding. DDP is a wild man on the feet. It looks like it's all chaos. It looks like there's no precise game plan or knowledge behind it. But that's why his team is so good. Because he makes it look like pure chaos. But meanwhile, it's all a part of the plan. It all throws the guy off to where he doesn't know what Dricus is about to do next. And then wham, wham, Steel Knox and Steel, right? But you're stepping in there with a full-grown adult wolf, which is Khamzat Chimaev. And after that performance Chimaev had against old-ass Usman, we were kind of like, man, I don't know if you go, you almost lost to Kamaru, you know what I'm saying? And so we were kind of like, I don't really know about the wolf, you know what I'm saying? He might not be the wolf anymore. I'm not really sure. But then when we saw him go out there and break the whole lower half of Robert Whittaker's face off, literally from his top teeth down, fell off. His whole chin, his lower jaw fell off on the ground of the octagon, and the referee waved off the fight because Khamzat Chimaev broke it off. All right, that's just what happened. So now we're talking about these two men being locked in a cage together. Once again, I'm not making a call on this fight. I haven't made a call for any of these three fights because it's going to take it's going to take game planning for us YouTubers to try to figure out who's going to win these fights because they that close. They could go either way, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not so much the Ilia fight. I kind of think Ilia, being a huge Charles Oliveira fan, kind of think Ilia goes out there and probably waxes him. But still, these are fights that I'm not making a pick for. We got to wait till the time is time, you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, the UFC is deep in their bag. And what's funny is I saw on ESPN MMA's YouTube channel, they had like a little post that was talking about like the 4 fights that everyone, couldn't wait to see and wanted to check out this year. It had the 3 fights that I mentioned, and when I tell you this 4th fight, you should laugh because one thing is not like the others. The 3 fights that I just mentioned, definitely the 3 most anticipated fights of the year. The one that ESPN MMA added on, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Get that fight out of here. Get that fight out of here. No one is signing up to really see that. No one really cares to see that. We're all going to buy it anyway because we're hardcores. But still, no one cares about that fight. The 3 fights I just named, that's all that anyone cares about. That's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, the UFC is back, baby. They're back. It's going down all summer long. The UFC is about to deliver these fights. Hopefully no injuries. Hopefully no pullouts. Nothing crazy happens. And we can see these fights go down. But that's the news this Saturday. Main event, we got Michael Morales stepping in the octagon with Gilbert Burns. Not the best card, in that main event, I got to go low with Michael Morales. We got Paul Craig fighting. I think he gets waxed. Not the best of cards, but I don't really care because we got the 3 fights announced that we're trying to see. So, please like, subscribe, comment. Out of the 3 fights, which one are you looking to see more? Which one has you more excited? And if you got any picks, drop your picks in the comments so I know who to bet on the day when the fight happens. Nevertheless, I do want to thank you guys for once again joining me for this episode of Matter of Fact MMA, and I'll check you next time. Peace.